Hello, for this project, I've decided to discuss corn ethanol. Corn ethanol is an alcohol-based biofuel made from fermenting sugars found inside corn kernels. It's the most common biofuel in the United States, as if you drive a car or anything, it's within the gas, as ethanol is mixed with alcohol. So E10, E15, E85, that just means there's 10% ethanol, 15% ethanol, 85% ethanol, and the regular 87 unleaded, that's usually the E10. So, corn is mainly cultivated within the Midwest using large scale agriculture, and it already produces such a massive amount. So farmers don't really need to get new equipment or new crops and find a new location to source it. So corn is first milled. So this is just when the corn kernels are crushed or ground into a really fine powder. That's just in order to get the starch inside. Then alpha amylase breaks long starch chains into shorter pieces, and then glucoamylase breaks those shorter pieces into the glucose molecules. And the enzymes usually come from fungi or bacteria that's grown in industrial fermentation tanks. Yeast is added to the glucose mixture and it performs alcoholic fermentation to break the glucose down into ethanol and CO2. And then ethanol is mixed with water after fermentation, so then it has to be separated. So that mixture is just heated up. So in order to collect the vapor, which is just going to be the purified ethanol, and then it's blended to create those different percentages. Corn ethanol is a well-established technology because we've been producing it for over 30 to 40 years. There's approximately 200 ethanol plants operating in the US, and the equipment and methods have been they're pretty tried and true. So even though this technology is pretty decent, it's important to continue this research just to better improve it. So for the carbon footprint, there's a kind of a mix of pros and cons. When corn grows, it absorbs a lot of CO2 from the atmosphere. However, this sort of offsets some of the CO2 released when ethanol is burned. However, it does growing corn requires a lot of tractors, fertilizer, and irrigation, and then also the transportation of corn and ethanol emits a lot of CO2, so it's not completely carbon neutral. As for the economic impact, it's played a huge role in the US economy as it's supported a lot of farming jobs, it's created new jobs in rural areas and also in the transportation industry as it's required a lot of more truck drivers. As for communication efforts, mainly you'll just see those labels at the gas station and also by education campaigns from the USDA and the EPA. Based on this data, I think corn ethanol is a good transition fuel. It helps reduce emissions, supports farmers and new jobs, and uses pretty familiar technology. However, it's really important to continue research in order to make sure that to improve the effectiveness of this fermentation but also make sure the CO2 emissions are reduced. And as for if there was unlimited funding, I would again just invest in continuing research that will find a better enzyme that preferably functions at a lower temperature to continue this, and also just overall improving the technology that's used to reduce CO2 emissions, and then also just switching to cellulosic corn ethanol, which would just be using the waste of it instead of the actual corn kernels, as they're still edible. Thank you.